Welcome to the whole new episode of Indo-Bangla Times, which will also be aired simultaneously on Calcalling TV and Headlines Tripura. Today we have a very distinguished guest with us. In fact, we have come to Rourkela to meet our distinguished guest, Sri R.P. Gupta, who may be an industrialist of repute by way of his professional career. He is an engineer by training and academic qualification, but more than everything else, he is an economist by passion. When he understands economics from his experience, and as he keeps saying that he has picked up lessons of economics by way of his engineering, or shall I say re-engineering skills. So that's very important actually. So we are having this discussion at a time when Indian economy is also at crossroads, and we are at a point when we have a new government. It's an old government, but in a new form. It's a new government in the sense that we are, everybody is saying is Modi 3.0 government, and it has moved from Modi 2.0 to Modi 3.0. But whatever name you may give it, it's a new or a different kind of government by way of its nature, because now the present income or the incumbent government, they do not have that margin which it used to enjoy earlier during its earlier tenure. It has come to power with a thinner margin, and there are many who think that the margin is thinner because the middle class is suffering. There have been huge amount of job losses, and the inflation is high. It's pocket pinches for everybody. So do you think, may I start our conversation with asking you, do you think that these are some of the key economic challenges before the new government as well?
There are challenges, no doubt. There are two types of challenges. One is the immediate problems, which you rightly told, jobs, and another is structural challenges, because major structural reforms which was done in 91, its benefit is already over. Now India needs a second series of major structural radical reforms to give it another push for 2 decades. That government has to sit, put their loggerheads. As author, we have suggested something. Likewise, they have to consult every subject experts. Best way is they restore the planning commission, putting all subject experts, and do that, undertake that exercise. That is number one. But job challenges is looming at large. That has to be addressed immediately, and it's a very difficult challenge. So as to overcome the problems, let us divide in 2 ways. First is the low and middle income jobs. That comes from the MSME and farm sector. And second is middle and high income jobs. That comes from the manufacturing sector and construction sector and large industries. So we have to take attempt on both the sides, but out of which I will give the importance immediately for MSME and farm sector, because for any economy, most important is the bottom of the pyramid, 65 to 70% population. Their basic needs are to be covered, and by giving subsidies and all that, it's not possible for any government to remove that distress. The core issue is that some job is to be provided, maybe of low or high middle income. This is what my views.
Whatever you said is very important. With your permission, let me just translate it for our viewers or some of our viewers. What he says is, yes, it is এটা একটা খুব ক্রিটিক্যাল প্রবলেম আমাদের অর্থনীতির ক্ষেত্রে, যে জব নেই, কাজ নেই, এবং সেইটার জন্যে এটাকে দেখার অনেকগুলো দৃষ্টিভঙ্গি বা দৃষ্টিকোণ আছে। একটা হচ্ছে ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং সেক্টর যেখানে উৎপাদন হয়, নির্মাণ হয়, এবং তার মধ্যে সবচেয়ে বেশি গুরুত্বপূর্ণ হচ্ছে ফার্ম সেক্টর অর্থাৎ কৃষির ক্ষেত্রটা, চাষবাসের ক্ষেত্রটা, এবং এমএসএমই অর্থাৎ যেগুলো স্মল মাইক্রো অ্যান্ড মিডিয়াম সেক্টর কোম্পানিজ, কারণ এরা জিডিপির প্রায় 30% মতো কন্ট্রিবিউট করে জিডিপিতে। কাজে এই দুটোর উপর গুরুত্ব দেওয়া খুব বেশি একটা প্রয়োজনীয়তা এসেছে এই মুহূর্তে, আশু প্রয়োজন যাকে বলা যেতে পারে। But as you rightly pointed out, these are some of the key problems or challenges before the government and before the economy as well. But do you sincerely think the government, with the kind of majority it has now, as we mentioned that it's a thinner majority, so unlike earlier times it cannot do anything that it wants to do. Normally when you come to power with a resounding majority you can do so many things, but this is not the right time to carry out structural reforms.
You see, with the famous 1991 reforms, that time it was a coalition government, and even during Atalji's government, Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, some reforms, incremental reforms were done. That was a coalition government. Again the UPA, it was a coalition government. Leave aside Rajiv Gandhi's period, since so many years the coalition governments are running. So rather I feel a coalition government gives a better opportunity to hear the public voice, and they can certainly do. They have to convince the first their partners, and it's equally important they take the opposition benches in confidence, and in the past as had been done, it should be done now, but you have to convince it. And as I submitted, a team spirit with the state and center and opposition benches is the key of the success of any political reform, and it should do. And especially when I'm for the job related things, why they will not agree? A good environment is to be created,
because that is good economics and good politics as well.
You can say good economics and good politics can deliver very good. It can deliver the results. Yeah.
আবার উনি একটা অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ এবং আমি বলবো একটা অভিনব দিক পয়েন্ট আউট করেছেন, মানে এটা একটা কোইন্সিডেন্স বা ঐতিহাসিকভাবে যদি আমরা দেখি, কারণ আমরা ওনার কাছে জানতে চেয়েছিলাম এখনকার সরকারটার ওই মেজরিটি নেই যেটা আগের সরকারের ছিল, কাজে এই মেজরিটি নিয়ে বা এই থিনার মেজরিটি নিয়ে কোনো স্ট্রাকচারাল রিফর্মস করা যায় কি না। উনি সুন্দরভাবে ইতিহাস থেকে নিয়ে ব্যাখ্যা করেছেন যে সবকটা মেজর স্ট্রাকচারাল রিফর্ম, সেটা অটল বিহারী বাজপেয়ীর জমানায় হোক, মনমোহন সিংয়ের জমানায় হোক, একমাত্র রাজীব গান্ধীর ওই ছোট্ট টার্মটা ছাড়া সবগুলোই কিন্তু কোয়ালিশন গভর্নমেন্ট ছিল, এমনকি ইউপিএর জমানাতেও যা হয়েছে। সো কোয়ালিশন গভর্নমেন্ট করতে পারে না এটা নয়, বরঞ্চ কোয়ালিশন গভর্নমেন্টেরই করার অনেক সুযোগ রয়েছে, কারণ কোয়ালিশন গভর্নমেন্টকে প্রথমে নিজের দলকে এবং তারপর বিরোধী দলকে বোঝানোর সুযোগ আছে, এবং যদি জব ক্রিয়েশনস হয় সেটা শুধু গুড ইকোনমিক্স না, গুড পলিটিক্সও বটে। কাজে গুড ইকোনমিক্স এবং গুড পলিটিক্স দিয়ে তার পলিটিক্যাল বেনিফিটও রিপ করা যায়। So the next question which comes to my mind is that I know you have been advocating this for quite some time now, that India has the potential, but one of the key thing is we should be a trade surplus economy. Yes. And at the same time rupee has to be very, very strong. So
both are synonym.
It's the way you look at it, it's the same.
If we are becoming trade surplus, it is the first step towards the strengthening of the rupee. And during 2002 to 2012, despite trade deficit, the rupee was stable. Rather, as far as I remember, interim period rupee was appreciated. So, and why I am advocating for stable rupee, you see, for developing your investment needs are very high, and our domestic savings are not enough to finance it. That means you need global capital, or you can say foreign savings. And when a global capital comes, they look for ROI, that is return on investment, in dollar terms, not in rupee terms. So if your currency is at least stable, if not appreciating, their return goes up. Historically, if I talk about last 4 decades, so I think 3 to 4% depreciation was there on a CGR basis. So if rupee becomes stable, even this 3-4% return is a good enough for them.
For foreign investors?
Yeah. In dollar terms.
In dollar terms.
Yeah.
অর্থাৎ আপনারা লক্ষ্য করছেন যে আমাদের যদি এক্সপোর্টটাকে বাড়াতে বা এক্সপোর্ট বাড়ানো এবং এই রুপির বা টাকার আমাদের যেটা ভারতীয় মুদ্রা তার শক্তিশালী হওয়া, এই দুটো উনি যেটা বললেন এরকমভাবে ব্যাখ্যা করলেন যে সিনোনিমাস, সমার্থক। কারণ বিদেশ থেকে এসে যারা এখানে তাদের টাকা বিনিয়োগ করে তারা যখন দেখে সেটা রিটার্ন অন ইনভেস্টমেন্ট দেখে ROI, এবং সেটা কিন্তু টাকার অঙ্কে দেখে না, ডলারের অঙ্কে দেখে। অতএব যদি আমাদের এক্সপোর্ট বাড়ে অটোমেটিক্যালি, উনি যেমন আবার ঐতিহাসিকভাবে উদাহরণ দিয়ে দেখিয়েছেন যে 2012 সালে এমন একটা সময় এসেছিলো যখন ট্রেডে হয়তো একটা ছোট্ট ডেফিসিট ছিল কিন্তু আমাদের রুপিটা অ্যাটলিস্ট স্ট্রঙ্গার ছিল। তো এইরকম অনেক উদাহরণ দেওয়া যেতে পারে, আমরা এই প্রসঙ্গে আবার আসবো। বাট লেট মি আস্ক ইউ মিস্টার গুপ্তা দ্যাট if we look at Bangladesh, which is a very neighboring country, with Bangladesh, India has a lot of scope to increase its bilateral trade, in fact increase its exports also, but we need to have a free rupee and BDT, which is Bangladeshi Taka trade, and the talks has been on, but on ground zero how much has been achieved, that is still questionable actually.
Same problem. You see, Bangladesh is our neighbor. They are performing well. Relatively, they are newer country. In fact, India only freed them, gave them independence, I would say. So they are our natural allies. But as far as when it comes accepting rupee as free trade rupee basis, everybody has to see that where do they invest, what they do with a surplus rupee. That if it is stable, then there is no problem. It can be accepted. If it is depreciating, then there is a problem of keeping the rupee as a surplus in their account, Vostro account and all that. So primarily we have to keep our currency stable, if not strong, stable against US dollar. That is first thing. That gives benefits in multiple directions. Several economists always say, no, our rupee is not competitive. For increasing the export, we should depreciate our rupee. I don't agree, sir. I don't agree. That is just like giving a painkiller without identifying the reasons. So painkiller, if you take for 2 hours, you are okay. Then you are back again.
So temporary relief.
Temporary relief. You have to do the permanent things. And why we can't export? As I told, that basic input cost, when you compare with the world, is higher in India. And the other compliance cost, tax compliance and law compliance cost, that is also higher. We have to prune down to bring it to globally competitive.
So being globally competitive will give us more advantages than one.
Definitely, because all developed nations now they are going for some new items, research-based high value additions and all that. The normal manufacturing, China has become the major supplier. Along with it, Bangladesh, Vietnam, likewise few countries are coming up and all. India is not able to make a place, but despite its potentiality, we should.
During the COVID time or immediately after COVID, there were a lot of talks that China has lost its advantages on geopolitical ground, and India is well positioned to take advantage of that and bring lot of manufacturing hubs to India. and enjoy the same or similar, if not more, cost advantages, cost effectiveness. So could we do that? Could we achieve that, or what needs
We are much better geopolitical wise. We are much better placed in comparison to China because we are a democratic country. China is not having a democracy. People have more faith here. The globe has more faith here. But when it comes to hard economy or hard business, we have to be competitive. Simply because we are democracy, you buy my product cost is more, so you accept it. Who will accept it? We have to produce it, and if you tell to producer what he can do, he has got his own limitation. It is by using the policy tools, 4 elements which I have told: capital, energy means primary and secondary energy, logistics and minerals. You reduce the cost and you compare with the other nations. In every field we are higher.
So why is it still not happening? I know you are a man who believes in solution, even me too, but we need to find the solution. Why is it not happening?
That's why I say second series of reforms, because that time entire manufacturing and industry were under license and all that. So in the first series, and even foreign dealings were also restricted, foreign investments were restricted. So that was the first series of reform. Now you can say something like this, that matriculation was completed, and that has delivered the results with that limited reforms. The second series of reforms, somebody has to take it up. Some government has to take it up. 2002 to 2012, if you decade-wise analysis, that performance was excellent. Export rise was 734% in this decade. Unbelievable. In terms of USD, of course. So now it has to, with the help of those reforms, those mindset, it is to be taken up. It is possible, very much possible. I don't foresee any problem unless government is determined.
তো তুমি যেটা বারবার যেটার উপর জোর দিচ্ছেন যে আমাদের যে এর আগে যে স্ট্রাকচারাল রিফর্মসটা অর্থনীতির ক্ষেত্রে হয়েছিল 1991 সাল যদি আমরা ধরি, তারপরে আমাদের তার চেয়েও বড়, কারণ তখন অনেক একটা সীমাবদ্ধ রিসোর্সের, লিমিটেড রিসোর্সের মধ্যে একটা রিফর্মস হয়েছিল। এখন তার চেয়েও নেক্সট ধাপে গিয়ে একটা রিফর্মস আসা উচিত, এবং আমাদের কোনো কিছুরই ঘাটতি নেই বা কমতি নেই। উনি যে 4টে ফোকাসের কথা বলেছেন, একটা ক্যাপিটাল, আর একটা হচ্ছে এনার্জি, যেটা প্রাথমিক এবং সেকেন্ডারি, প্রাইমারি অ্যান্ড সেকেন্ডারি দুটোর ক্ষেত্রেই পড়ে। আরও দুটো পয়েন্ট আপনি বলেছেন যেগুলো
লজিস্টিক্স and minerals and easement of regulation compliance burden, to reduce the compliance burden, regulatory easement.
So we also have this ease of doing business index. In fact, periodically we see this index getting changed, somebody going up, somebody going down. Despite all this, you mean to say that we still do not have that?
That is discontinued. That was done by WEF earlier, and those parameters they were comparing with. First thing, they were going to few cities like Calcutta, Bombay, Delhi, and all that, and their parameters were different, and now they have closed it. We should have our own government bodies know it, and they can discuss with the stakeholders, they can and the subject experts, and they can do it here, that what are the laws coming on the way. You see, there are 25,000 provisions of the criminal prosecution as per one article in the business line.
Right.
Now, whether doing a business is a crime? Certainly not. So those are to be pruned down, and compliance is so difficult that as I told you, it should be in a mixed economy, small, medium, micro, everybody has to survive. You have made the same laws for a large industry and same for this thing, can't be done. Companies Act 2013, which was of course done in UPA time, maybe a small company or maybe a mega large company, same. How it is possible to comply? Now GST compliance very difficult for small.
People don't even understand.
Yeah, so they don't register. That's not a good thing. Then we call them that they are tax evader. Arey, no, small guy, they are afraid of. So see that it's simplified. They get registered. They come in the network. They will able to take the benefits of the government also. We have to guide them. We can't blame those small guys. So those things somebody has to understand and take it up. What I feel.
So ease of doing business টা এখন হয়তো আর নেই, কিন্তু ease of doing business টা ওই ইন্ডেক্সটা না থাকলেও ব্যবসার অনেক বেশি সরলীকরণ করা অত্যন্ত জরুরি। বিশেষ করে একটা বড় বৃহৎ ইন্ডাস্ট্রি এবং মাঝারি বা ছোট ইন্ডাস্ট্রি, তাদের জন্য একই নিয়মকানুন হতে পারে না, কারণ দুজনের স্টেটাসের এবং তাদের যে পজিশনিং তার অনেক তফাৎ রয়েছে। এই যে এখন প্রায় 25,000-এর ওপর বিভিন্ন কমপ্লায়েন্স রিলেটেড ইস্যু কেস ঝুলে রয়েছে, তার মানে এর যদি মাপকাঠিতে আমরা দেখি এবং তাদের ট্যাক্স ইভেডার বা অন্য কিছু বলে গণ্য করি, তাহলে কিন্তু বিজনেসম্যানদের যে কমফোর্ট লেভেলটা দেওয়ার দরকার সেটা হয়তো থাকে না, এবং আলটিমেটলি কিন্তু ওভারঅল বিজনেস এনভায়রনমেন্ট যাকে বলে সেইটা ধাক্কা খায় কোনো না কোনোভাবে। তো এই পরিমণ্ডলটাকে একটা সুস্থিরভাবে গঠন করাও প্রয়োজন। Mr. Gupta, my next question would be, in formal and informal chats, you keep saying that Planning Commission will have to be brought back with its old or past glory and importance and significance. Why do you keep repeating that?
Because a sizable portion of the capital expenditure or the investment is done by the government. I think that capital investment, it is scarce capital, public capital, whether by way of tax or by way of borrowing. It should be judiciously used, not on ad hocism basis. So for that, a planning is required, at least medium term planning, 5-year planning, whether it should go into energy, whether it should go, see, now in India we are constructing roads, so many. There are other areas also, energy, rail, likewise so many things, there is no end to it. Then on human development side, education, medical, so it is to be judiciously divided. That Planning Commission is the primary job. How to, if you want to grow at particular growth rate, what are your needs and how to use the government money or private money, whatever it may be, even the guide for the private investment also, and how this investment will come. It is a composite planning, which is not done now.
And Planning Commission needs to be broad-based also by way of roping in engineers, economists, MBAs.
For developing phase it is required. After we are developed, investment needs are mostly met and not needed.
অর্থাৎ আমাদের যে প্ল্যানিং কমিশন ছিল সেইটাকে উনি আবার ফেরত আনার কথা বলছেন, তার পুরনো গ্লোরি এবং পুরনো যে গুরুত্ব বা তাৎপর্য ছিল সেটাকে নিয়েই, কারণ আমাদের এখন একটা কম্পোজিট প্ল্যানিং করে এগোতে হবে। যেমন খুব সুন্দরভাবে ব্যাখ্যা করেছেন যে আমরা কতটা আমাদের রিসোর্সেস, যেটা সেটা সরকারি হোক বা বেসরকারি হোক, তার কতটা বিনিয়োগ নির্মাণ খাতে বা রাস্তার ক্ষেত্রে যাবে, কতটা এনার্জিতে যাবে, কতটা হেলথ যেগুলোকে আমরা বলি সোশ্যাল ইনফ্রাস্ট্রাকচার, এডুকেশান, হেলথ কেয়ার এর ক্ষেত্রে যাবে। এই পরিকল্পনাটা একটা 5 বছরের জন্য করে যদি আমরা এগোতে না পারি, তাহলে কিন্তু আমরা সঠিক রাস্তাটা দেখতে পাবো না। কাজেই প্ল্যানিং কমিশনকে ফেরত আনাটা ফর এ কম্পোজিট প্ল্যানিং এবং ব্যালেন্সড প্ল্যানিং, যে হুইচ সেক্টর টু বি গিভেন প্রায়োরিটি, হুইচ সেক্টর টু বি গিভেন হাউ মাচ ওয়েটেজ, এইগুলো খুব জরুরি আর কি। তো এটাও একটা খুব গুরুত্বপূর্ণ দিকের প্রতি উনি একটা আলোকপাত করলেন। এই মুহূর্তে we are also the union full term budget is just days away. So what would be your expectation and how would you like this budget to be given the constraints?
Well, there is too much short time. Though it is the same government, they might have done they might have been working in advance. But I think they should do something towards the immediate problems, burning problems issue. They will address it. The biggest challenge before them is the debt has gone up very high, record high, and tax GDP ratio is also high. So they don't have any scope of further taxing the people, rather they have to decrease the taxes. And on other side, the fiscal debt they cannot increase too much. So it's a very difficult situation. They should come out with a good policies and to overcome the current problems.
So do you sincerely expect these things to come or such an approach?
Very short time in hand with the government, because government was formed, of course, 1 month is over, but already small time is left for consultations and all that with various stakeholders and all that. So I don't know that how much
Homework.
yeah. And from next year onwards, they can, because for policy, even the budget is not required. For policy, they can change it anytime, all that. I am sure this time they will be more thinking towards fiscal consolidation.
বাজেটের সম্পর্কে ওনার প্রত্যাশা হচ্ছে ফিসক্যাল কনসলিডেশন হবে, কারণ খুব ছোট স্বল্প সময়ের মধ্যে তাদের এই বাজেটটা তৈরি করে একটা ফুল টার্ম বাজেট করতে হচ্ছে। বাট অ্যানাদার ক্রিটিক্যাল অ্যান্ড ভেরি ইন্টারেস্টিং থিং উইচ ইউ কিপ মেনশনিং ইজ swapping sovereign. Even in case of sovereign debt, you can swap it with equity, which may apparently think, it's a kind of hyperbole. So is it possible, or how is it possible?
You see, I will say that I am a student of business management, because I am not MBA, but since I am managing the business since more than 50 years, so we expertise in solving the problems with that brain. I told government, central and state, there more than 400 public sector enterprises are there. They should convert into corporate and list it with a stock exchange and dilute their share 5% now immediately for listing, and gradually in the subsequent years after unlocking the value. So the proceeds which comes from there, that replaces the debt, is indirectly swap up the debt through equity. And same way for infrastructure spending, they should also incorporate new entities, listed entities, in joint venture with the states and or with private corporate. Let them take up the commercially viable infrastructure spending through that corporate. So the debt raised over there will not be the part of the fiscal debt. Or in other words, by putting 15 rupees as a equity, they will able to spend 100 rupees. So leveraging, in our business language will call leveraging the promoter's money. So government as a promoter, they are leveraging and spending with the joint venture with the states, private corporate and public equity and debt and all that.
So what you are saying is extremely important and interesting, because it's not doing away with public sector. On the contrary, you are advocating creating of new public
Yeah,
sector units
yeah,
also,
yeah.
So that we can, or the government can leverage its, the promoter
Yeah.
value equity and then spend in infrastructure and
Yes.
other development works.
Yes. When after independence, you see, all public sector enterprise were built by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, because that time private investment was not possible. So more or less we have come to that stage that in infrastructure, private investments are not coming up because they have burnt their fingers. So again the government has come and then encourage them through joint venture, and finally if at an appropriate time, if government thinks they can transfer, sell to them. So ultimately country gets infrastructure and your fiscal resources deployed is less. Purpose be solved.
In
This-
fact, you have the earning opportunity as
Yeah,
well
yeah,
because of
yeah.
selling of
Yeah, yeah.
limited
Yeah.
shares and
Yeah.
equity. তো আপনারা যারা শুনছেন এই আলোচনাটা আমি একটু আবার আপনাদের জন্য ট্রান্সলেট করে বলে দিতে চাই যে এমন একটা সময় যখন সব সময় বলা হয় পাবলিক সেক্টরের দিন শেষ, পাবলিক সেক্টর তুলে দেওয়া হোক, সে যেখানে উনি কিন্তু ঠিক উল্টো বলছেন, এটা অনেকটা উল্টো রথের মতো, যে পাবলিক সেক্টর তুলে দেওয়া তো দরকারই নেই, উল্টে পাবলিক সেক্টর নতুন করে ক্রিয়েট করা যেতে পারে, সেটা স্টেট গভর্নমেন্টের সঙ্গে হতে পারে, এমনকি প্রাইভেট সেক্টরের সঙ্গে জয়েন্টলিও হতে পারে, এবং বাই ওয়ে অফ দ্যাট গভর্নমেন্ট অ্যাজ এ প্রমোটার ক্যান অ্যাকচুয়ালি লিভারেজ এবং তার যে ডেট আছে সেইটাকে সোয়াপ করে দিতে এবং ইনফ্রাস্ট্রাকচার এবং অন্যান্য উন্নয়নমূলক কাজে, ডেভেলপমেন্ট কাজে স্পেন্ড করতে পারে। তো এটাও একটা কিন্তু একটা নতুন দৃষ্টিভঙ্গি, যেটা নিশ্চয়ই খুব একটা খোরাক যোগাবে, চিন্তার খোরাক যোগাবে ফর ইকোনমিক্স এবং যারা প্ল্যানার্স এবং আমাদের যারা জাতীয় স্তরে ন্যাশনালি যারা ডিসিশন মেকার তাদের জন্যে। Mr. Gupta, it's always fascinating and wonderful talking to you because you always come up with, the real food for thought. This time also it has not been an exception. Thank you indeed. Thank you so much. I'm sure when we talk for the next time, we will come up with more and more ideas, and which, as many of the things you have mentioned in the book, has actually we can see getting it translated some way or the other. So some of your thoughts will also get translated in the days to come.
Thank you. I am also indeed grateful to you taking the pain to come over here.
My pleasure.